The best tip I learned when it comes to eyes is start with a circle. Since the eye is a sphere, I always start with that. Then overlap the eye with the skin above it, the upper and lower eyelid. Now you can see the shape of the eye underneath the skin and how it affects the light and shadows around it. And always remember, the eyelid will cast a shadow on the eye as well. Now for a side view, you're still going to start with a sphere. The lashes are more prominent here, and you can see how the eyelid follows the shape of the eye much clearer here. Once you've got that mastered, the placement of the eyelids then gives you your expressions. When the eyelids don't touch the iris, you get a shocked or startled look. And when the eyelids cover most of the eye, you get a sneaky or cynical or just plain tired look. And not all eyes look the same. Eastern Asian eyes have a wonderful almond shape and an epicanthal fold that has no distinct eyelid crease. Oh, another tip. When drawing eyelashes, don't try to draw each individual eyelash. Just make a shape. Keep it simple. Another great thing to practice is lighting. The eye is a sphere. Light will hit one side and shadow on the other side. On the iris, the center colored part, remember that if the highlight hits one side of the iris, shade it darker around that highlight. But the opposite side of the iris will be a bit lighter. I hope this helps. And remember, no tip or trick or hack will improve your art more than practice. Eyebrows are where we get our expression, our personality. It's our visual indicators from person to person as to what we're thinking or feeling. While there's all different types of eyebrows, thick, thin, bushy, well-trimmed, they all serve the same purpose, to tell one another how we feel. So what you're really looking for is expressions, and I can't think of a better way to practice drawing expressions than to copy Calvin and Hobbes. So try this little exercise, taking a cartoon character expression and making it more realistic. It'll help you push yourself and your expressions to a whole new level, and it's really fun. Drawing eyebrows are simple enough, but capturing the right expression, that's tough. That's really tough. And so it takes a lot of practice and observation. So that's my recommendation. Grab your favorite comic strip, copy them, draw them in your style, and have fun. For me, when drawing mouths, the most important thing is that line, just that middle line. Focus on the opening, and from there, everything else will fall into place. Everybody's mouth is different. There's so many different shapes, but if you can get the opening right, that's where you're gonna get the expressions. That's where you're gonna get the personality. So focus on that, practice that first. Then from there, you can add the upper and lower lip. That's when everything takes shape. Even on the profile, add the line where the mouth opens, then the upper lip and the lower lip. Remember that they're going to be affected by light and shadow, with the upper lip almost always being darker than the lower lip. Giving the lower lip some bounce light from underneath also helps give it the illusion of volume. Now when it comes to teeth, I try not to draw the gums and every tooth in full detail. I know that's what you see in real life, but it can be very distracting. So I try to simplify it. Just give a hint of teeth, a subtle little bit of shading for the gums. Let people's mind do the rest. And remember, lips come in all shapes and sizes, so practice drawing every kind you can find. Full lips, thin lips, wide lips, narrow lips, pursed lips, chapped lips, pierced lips, and fuzzy lips. There's so many shapes, colors, and sizes, you have a lifetime of practice ahead of you. I get asked for drawing tips on a daily basis, and it's always fun to try and simplify things to make it easier to learn to draw. For noses, I start off with a circle. It's the general shape of the nose. Then I put these little parentheses on each side. Next, the nostrils. Make sure they connect only in the middle, never touching the parentheses on the side. For the side view, same thing. Circle, but with only one parenthesis. And the nostrils again don't connect to it. Only the circle. For the 3/4 view, make sure you emphasize only the farther side of the circle as it overlaps the farther parentheses. Once you've gotten that, it's just a matter of practicing various nose shapes. There's upturned noses and downturned noses, narrow noses and wide noses, but it all starts with a simple circle and a couple of parentheses. Now, full disclosure, I'm an art major, so I'm pretty sure that parenthesis is not the medical term for these thingies on the side of the nose, but just go with it, okay? Ears are just weird looking, okay? They're just kind of weird. No matter how many times I draw them, they always look alien to me. But weird or not, they are kind of fun to draw, once you get the basic shapes down. The main one being this rounded piece on the top. It's kind of like a little umbrella or awning folding over the inner part of the ear. It's going to create a shadow, so that's really what I want you to focus on, is where you're going to see the shadows. So here's the 3 spots with the most contrast. These are the main things to focus on. The hole where the ear canal is, the upper part we just spoke about, and the bottom of the earlobe. And speaking of earlobes, some have ears that have attached earlobes, and others have kind of droopy earlobes, like this. Other than that, I just kind of focus on those 3 parts and then fill the rest of the ear with some lines and shade it in. I know it's not very scientific, but you all did ask me how I draw ears, and this is it. For better or worse, ears are weird, and I guess so am I. Hair is quite possibly my favorite thing to draw. I just love doing it, but you gotta have the right tools. I use the zebra brush pens. They give me great control of line. I can go thick, I can go thin, it's wonderful. So the harder you push down, the thicker the line is, and the lighter you push, the thinner the line is. So my biggest recommendation for doing hair is think of them as ribbons. They bend, they flow, they curl, just like a ribbon, like on a Christmas present. You'll see me using my brush pen to kind of feather. You'll see the little lines. That kind of gives you the impression of hair, and I'm leaving out the little spot where the highlights are. So the darker spots where there's more color, and the lighter spots where there's going to be more highlight. It takes some practice and it's a bit time consuming, but if you keep adding ribbon after ribbon, line after line, you'll start to see it come together. And with a little bit of practice, it can look like this, or this, or this, or this. Just stick with it and have fun, and please make sure to tag me in your new piece. I'd love to see it. I'm by no means an expert, but here's how I draw Afro-textured hair. For very short hair, you're going to do a stippling effect like this. You could probably even use a dotted line for the hairline as well. For medium length hair, I'd like to do a variation of thick to thin lines. If you're using a brush pen like I am, you can push down harder for thicker lines and press softer for thinner lines. For longer men's hair, I usually focus on the overall shape and just focus on the highlights. For women's hair, there's an unlimited amount of styles. Amanda Gorman's hair is amazing, but I focused on the bun here for this sample. Feathering out from the middle, going thicker lines to thin lines. For an afro, you're going to use longer, thinner, curlier lines, usually starting the part from the top, then running the line all the way down. Now for braids and dreads, it's a similar technique. You're going to be using longer lines as well, but you can vary your pressure to give the illusion of thickness. And remember, you're not trying to draw every strand of hair, you're giving the illusion of that, your interpretation. And finally, probably my favorite, curls. For this technique, I push down hard and lift up in a circular fashion, then again in a 45-degree angle, and then just repeat it over and over and over and over again. There's so many more styles you can draw as well. I highly encourage you to look them up, experiment, and have fun. I get asked every day to do a video about proportions, foreshortening, and dynamic posing. I always say, go pick up a copy of How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. It's so good. John Buscema breaks down both normal human and superhuman proportions. Men, women, good guys, and bad guys. It's easy to understand, and the visuals are immaculate. He breaks down foreshortening, which is how artists show perspective with the human form. The way we give the illusion of body parts being closer to the viewer by making them larger. And as you learn more about foreshortening, you can move on to Chapter 6. Want your characters to have cool poses? Feel like they're more alive? Then copy, trace, and study Chapter 6. That's where proportions and foreshortening all come together to get you really dynamic figures. It's so fun to draw. Oh, and on top of this book, I would spend hours and hours copying poses from my favorite cartoons. Dragon Ball Z was always great for that. I have hundreds of pages of sketchbooks filled with tiny little gesture drawings from when I was a kid. And that's how we learn, isn't it? By drawing over and over and over, training our hands and eyes to work together, to see the body proportions, foreshortening, and body language. It all comes down to practice and a good foundation, like How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. Look, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I hate drawing hands, and I'm really bad at it. I mean, look at my paintings. See any hands here? No, and that's because I'm so bad at them. And when I do paint hands, I put gloves on them. It's cheating, I know, but let's just figure this out together, okay? I start off with a trapezoid shape for the hand. Then I add the 4 knuckles, just circles. It's never in a straight line, always rounded. From there, just make some cylinders. Usually I just do 2, coming out for the fingers. The best advice though is to practice. If you have an extra hand, draw it. Sometimes I use action figures, or you can just Google pictures. But with any drawing, practice is what's going to help you more than shortcuts. Look at how much I improved on this page from the first hand drawing to the last. Okay, maybe not this last one. I have no idea what's going on here. But I got some good ones in there, right? The point is, you'll get better with practice, and we can all use. I've been asked a bazillion times to do a tutorial on legs, so here you go. I usually start off with cylinders, larger at the top and smaller at the bottom, like this. I make 2, one for the thigh area, which is larger, and one for the shin area, which is smaller, and a circle for the knee. Now in general this makes sense and it works, but after playing around a bit, I knew I needed some help explaining this. So I went to the bookshelf to grab a copy of Bridgman's Constructive Anatomy. This is the book I turn to when I need help with human anatomy. It's really well done, easy to read, and great art. As artists, we can't remember every lesson we've ever learned, and we're absolutely not expected to be experts at everything art. So don't be afraid to open up a book, trace someone else's art, and learn from them. By simply tracing over these drawings, I remembered something I'd long forgotten. The leg muscles have counterbalances. The muscles are angled opposites of each other, like this. So now when you simplify your shapes, you can draw them more like this. See? I think that looks much closer to how legs work. I hope this helps. I'll leave a link to Bridgman's book in my art supply list in my bio. Again, I'm not a teacher, just a fellow student of art, learning right alongside you. Hey everyone, let's practice drawing heads today using photo reference. Today we're drawing my good friend Santa J. Claus. The first thing I do is I start off with an oval. Then I'm going to draw a horizontal and vertical line to indicate the center of the head. Then a circle for the nose and the 2 eyeballs. When I'm drawing the eyeball, I'm drawing the entire eyeball in the socket, not just the parts that are visible. Then I add the eyelids, both top and bottom. And don't forget the skin overlapping the eyeball. It has weight and thickness. And remember, there's going to be shadow underneath the eye and above the eyelid. And the eyelid itself casts a shadow on the eyeball. I usually draw the eyebrows at the top of the circle of the eyeball. And for the nose, I usually start off with a circle as well. with 2 half circles on each side. And if you make a mistake, that's what erasers are for. In my lifetime, I've probably drawn tens of thousands of faces, and I still make mistakes every single time. But that's art. We're not copy machines. It's not automatic. So embrace the wonkiness of your art. We're not going for perfection. We're making art. We're showing the world how we see it, wonkiness and all. And remember, use photo reference. Draw from models. Go out into nature. Use a stencil or a ruler. Trace. Use anything you want to make art. There's no rules. Just make art and have fun. So you want to learn how to draw the human head at different angles. Side view, 3/4 view, or whatever this is. I don't really have a hack or anything that can instantly help you. What I do every time is draw from reference. I mean, can I draw from my mind? Sure, but it's so much better when I use photos. And you should too. It's how you learn. It's how we all learn. Let's look at a profile picture. Copy it together. Profiles are kind of hard because they can look flat if you do it 100%. I like to have it be just a bit off so you can see a little of the other eye. And 3/4 is best. You can see cheekbones and jawline and everything. Definitely prefer this. There's a ton of great teachers who will show you all the parts of the skull and the muscles and just really help you learn anatomy. And they could do it so much better than me because I mostly slept through those classes. Me, when I draw something, I look at a photo. That's the best advice I could give you. I can draw most anything if I can see it. So you want to get better at drawing heads from different angles? Look up some photos. Have your friends or family pose for pictures. Copy it. Learn from it. Draw every day. Through repetition and observation and practice, you'll improve. And no amount of tips, tricks, or hacks will help you as much as just looking and drawing what you see. I promise.